And here we go, Resonance Liberation is now activated. We'll quick swap into Calcaro to begin our combo, and we'll enter the Resonance Liberation mode with a heavy attack, quick swap into Yinlin's intro, and we are going to quick swap back into Calcaro, not losing out on that Death Messenger timing, and we'll set our asses down, and now the Judgment Marks have been applied, and look at the lightnings being summoned, every single attack coming out from Yinlin as well as Calcaro. Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Wuthering Waves video. This is the pre-analysis guide for Yinlin, and whoa, oh my god, every time I see this character, I'm just honestly so impressed by her design as well as her kit. Now in this video, we'll go over all of her skills, her basic attacks, and the passive that basically makes this character a tier 0 sub DPS. We'll also go over her best teams, her weapons, as well as echoes, and I think you'll be very surprised that there's a free-to-play partner. That's right, a free-to-play 4-star partner for Yinlin that makes her extremely broken. This team is honestly one of the best for any boss encounters, and I'll show you why. Hello, Future Tim here. Every time you hear the word Judgment Mark in this video, what I actually mean is Punishment Mark, so keep that in mind while you enjoy the rest of this video. So let's start with Yinlin's basic attacks. It's a 4-hit combo that does decent damage, and it's got some range as well, so you can cast this at a relatively safe distance. Now going into her resonance skill, it's a 2-part combo, and the first part when you use it actually buffs her basic attack as well as her parry dodge attacks. So you can see that when you use her first hit resonance skill, you can use a 4-hit basics combo and then use her resonance skill at the end for another AoE enhanced hit. So you can see this is going to be the bread and butter of your rotation. You use a resonance skill, 4 base attacks, and then resonance attack. Now her resonance liberation skill is a 7 instance hit that does very good damage against the target enemy, and of course it's going to be AoE as well. Now Yinlin's passives are what makes her completely broken. Her base attacks as well as her resonance liberation will apply a debuff called the Sinner's Mark, and enemies with the debuff will take extra damage from her resonance skill. Your basic attacks as well as your skill also fill up the energy gauge at the bottom above your HP, and that's called the judgment points. And once the gauge is filled, you can use your heavy attack to convert all of the enemy's Sinner's Mark into judgment marks, and this lasts for 18 seconds. Now, this judgment mark is the thing that breaks the entire kit of Yinlin, because what happens is anytime an enemy with a judgment mark takes damage, and it doesn't have to be damage from Yinlin, it can be your main DPS if you swap out, but anytime they take damage, all of the enemies on the field with a judgment mark will take damage from Yinlin. She'll summon this lightning from the sky, and it's just gonna deal insane amounts of damage, and this triggers every single second, once every single second. Now if you upgrade Yinlin to higher waveband levels, so more dupes, this can trigger every 0.75 seconds, but this is what makes her the perfect sub DPS, because you'll go in, you'll do a whole rotation, apply and convert the Sinner's Mark into Judgment Mark, and that's it. Swap to your main DPS, let them do all of their rotations, and during that 18 seconds, all of the enemies will receive massive amounts of damage from Yinlin without Yinlin even present on the field. Now Yinlin's outro gives the next character a 20% electro damage buff and a 25% resonance liberation damage buff for 14 seconds, and this is perfect for units like Calcaro, because for him, his Death Messenger heavy attack post resonance liberation is considered as resonance liberation damage. However, there's a talk about how post release quick swaps are nerfed, in the sense that once you use your outro into Calcaro, if you swap during the Death Messenger to get maximized damage output, as we see some of the pros do, you'll lose that outro buff unless Yinlin outros again. Well, I think for most of the players this doesn't really matter, because you won't be swapping during the Calcaro burst rotations, because it's very difficult to master. However, I also think with this change, potentially we could see some buffs coming out for the release version of Yinlin to compensate for it. So regardless, I think the insane amounts of damage as a sub DPS coming out from the rotations and passives is honestly bonkers. So let's take a look at the actual in-combat rotation, because it's going to look insanely ridiculous once you see how high of a skill ceiling this is going to be. So this is a CN world first 2-person 3-star clear back in CBT with Yinlin and Calcaro, just those 2 units. So you can see Yinlin uses the Resonance Liberation, and we are just going all in with Calcaro at the moment. He uses skill to animation cancel going back into Yinlin. We cast the first instance of the Resonance skill back into Calcaro before the Death Messenger lands, and we're still using our 3-hit skill cancel to get the last Death Messenger off, and back into Yinlin. And every time you intro, remember guys, you gain a few basic attacks as well, that fills up the judgment points. And we just used the second hit of the Resonance skill in the last swap, and we're going to use Yinlin again, and now her gauge is full. I expect on the last one, on the last swap, we're going to sit down, which is the full 1000 faces attack, the heavy attack, to convert the Sinner's Mark into the Judgment Mark. We dodged that one, so we don't use the sit down animation at the moment. So I think after this one, the last Death Messenger, now we're swapped. There we go, we sit down, and now this is the Judgment Mark applied. You can see, look at the lightning getting summoned. Every single time Calcaro does this, they'll summon the lightning. So it's regardless of who is on the field and who is doing the damage, every second this will trigger Yinlin's attack. So you can see here that we're doing massive amounts of damage, and we swap Yinlin every single chance we get during the downtime, right? Because again, when you swap Yinlin, you do attack with about 2 to 3 basics, and you use your E if you have it off cooldown, and then you can swap out and swap back, use the secondary attack of the E, because remember there's 2-hit combo to that, and then do Calcaro's heavy attack animation, you can swap Yinlin back in, and now we are full gauge wise one more time. But he didn't want to lose any attack on the Death Messenger, so the next Death Messenger will come in with Yinlin, will sit down, and the Judgment Mark has been applied again. And look, oh my god, the lightning just coming out endlessly. And intro back into Yinlin, will use the Resonance skill, and again swap out on the second Resonance skill animation. As you can see, this playstyle is absolutely insane. You swap Yinlin every single chance you can during the downtime, and either use E, which is your Resonance skill, either twice or once, and quick swap out if you're doing the Death Messenger rotation, or you can do it in one go. I expect for most of the players, normally what's going to happen is that you're not going to quick swap as much. It's going to play it in the same style as Senghua. Basically come in, you do your E, rotation, E, and then you're out, right? And if you have the full gauge, you have your attack set down, and then you swap out. That's pretty much how most people will play Yinlin, because they're either not going to have the latency or the skills to do quick swap between every single Death Messenger swap, or they will actually run the Yang Wu combo, which is really strong, especially if you got a couple of dukes of Yuan Wu. Now, while Calcaro is known as the best unit to pair up with Yinlin, there's actually an even better one for the general public. That's right, Daddy Yuan Wu, the free character you get from the tower, is a fantastic 4-star that goes really well with Yinlin. Because the problem with Calcaro is that you really have to have a high skill ceiling and a good latency to maximize and optimize his damage, whether it be animation cancelling and quick swapping during the Death Messengers, or using the skill cancel on your basic 5-hit combo. But Yuan Wu doesn't need any of that. All you have to do is bash the boss. His internal skill kit with the anti-interruption increase, as well as the vibration strength depletion, makes him a really strong character against bosses, because not only is he going to be able to get out his combos, since he's going to have less stagger, he's also going to be able to put the bosses into the break state very easily as you deplete the vibration strength. So you can see that in this CN combination, they're going to run Yuan Wu with Qixia and Yinlin, and all you have to do is just hit the boss. Of course you have to dodge, but as long as you're bashing away and hitting the boss, you can see the bar deplete really fast, and this is super good for the combination of Yinlin plus Yuan Wu, because the faster you bring the boss down into an idle state and sitting on the floor, the more you can DPS and not having to worry about even using a unit like a healer, for example. So you can see that his combination is good in also parrying. And look at this break gauge coming out, just putting the boss down. And as you're DPing us away, look, he's already almost down again. Look at that, crazy amounts of damage. Now taking a look at Yuan Wu's resonance chain, so for the dupes, and because he is on the banner with Yinlin, you can expect quite a few copies hopefully, and also the fact that the one copy you'll get for free 100% from just clearing the tower. And with his S1, you're gonna gain basic attack speed increase and heavy attack speed increase, and later on he scales really well with defense, either gaining additional damage that's increased by defense or giving on-field allies a shield, which is really massive as well, and also further boosting your teammates. So this team composition, when used with Yinlin, is completely bonkers in the right hands. Now in terms of Yinlin's weapon and echo choices, for the weapons you definitely want to use the signature weapon. It's about a 15 to 20% increase compared to the next best thing, which is the battle pass weapon. You can also use the 5-star selector weapon if that's what you want as well. And in terms of the echo, currently the recommendation is going to be the 5-piece moonlit with a cost 4 main stat crit or crit damage using the impermanence tri-headed bird. Now this is essentially allowing you to hopefully quick swap in and out and get the maximized outro from Yinlin. So this is more of a sub DPS focused energy build. I expect things might change post release as we find a potential buff in Yinlin or other team compositions, but similar to how you would even play units like Sanghua, you just want to come in, use your skills and quickly get out. So energy gain as well as building more attack percentage on your Yinlin's damage kit is going to be very helpful. Now my final concluding thought is that Yinlin is a much higher value pull target than someone like Jiyan, due to the fact that sub DPS characters are a lot easier to slot into teams in comparison. You don't even have to use her with Calcaro or Yuan Wu. I've seen Encore Yinlin, Havoc MC Yinlin, and even Jiyan Yinlin teams, and you don't even have to use a healer. For example, in the Yuan Wu team, just going with him plus Yinlin plus Qixia. So a lot more flexible in that regard because their on-field time is very short and you can do a rotation and get out, and the damage coming out is going to be relatively the same just due to how skills like the judgment marks work. So it's very insane, and honestly I will be pulling for her 100%. But remember guys, this is the pre-analysis. We still have to wait for the full kit to be released, and I expect a buff coming out from Yinlin as well. But she's honestly so damn strong already, and I wish you all the best in getting her hopefully early with loads of copies of Yuan Wu as well along the way. So it's TimaeuSS here, and if you want to see more Wuthering Wave guides, it's on my channel, so subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye now.